She walked into that room expecting to be seen. The most powerful person in it reportedly looked straight through her. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because what allegedly happened between Meghan Markle and the Netflix CEO at the Beef Season 2 California event is the story nobody in mainstream media wants to lead with. In today's commentary, we are examining a moment that on the surface looks like a simple social interaction at a glamorous industry event, but underneath carries implications that go straight to the heart of Meghan Markle's professional standing inside one of the most powerful entertainment companies on the planet. The setting is California. The occasion is Netflix's star-studded Beef Season 2 event. The room is full of industry heavyweights, cameras, and the kind of quiet power dynamics that never make the official press release but always make the internet. And reportedly, somewhere in that room, Meghan Markle found herself in a conversation that only she was having. But you haven't heard the craziest part. It wasn't a dramatic confrontation. It wasn't a public slight delivered with intent. It was something quieter and, in many ways, far more damaging. Silence. Redirection. The kind of social dismissal that powerful people deploy without ever raising their voice. Here is what observers and commentators began piecing together from footage and eyewitness accounts circulating after the event. Meghan, reportedly engaging with or attempting to engage with senior Netflix leadership present at the evening, allegedly found herself on the receiving end of what social dynamics experts would describe as a soft freeze, the polite but unmistakable act of being acknowledged without being engaged. Present in the room, invisible in the conversation. For anyone, that is an uncomfortable experience. For Meghan Markle, at a Netflix event in California with cameras present, it is a moment with consequences. Think of it like showing up to a board meeting where everyone knows your contract is under review. The smiles are there. The handshakes happen, but nobody is leaning in. Now here is the context that makes this allegedly small moment carry enormous weight. Meghan's entire post-royal professional identity is anchored to her Netflix deal. It is the primary vehicle through which she has attempted to rebuild public credibility, establish herself as a serious content creator, and generate the kind of cultural influence that justifies the platform she insists she deserves. That deal, reportedly, has faced internal questions following mixed performance numbers on previous projects. Which means that every public interaction between Meghan and Netflix leadership is no longer just social. It is strategic. It is a signal. And reportedly, the signal sent in California was not the one her team was hoping for. Sources suggest that attendees and online analysts dissecting footage from the evening noted a visible pattern across multiple interactions, a pattern where Meghan appeared to be working harder than anyone else in the room to establish warmth and connection, while the energy returned to her remained, by most accounts, politely minimal. In the language of Hollywood power dynamics, that asymmetry is not accidental. It is a read of the room expressing itself through body language and social choreography. Reportedly, commentary videos and reaction posts focusing on this specific dynamic generated significant engagement within 24 hours of the event, with viewers pointing out frame by frame the moments where conversation appeared to stall, where eye contact shifted, and where the social temperature around Meghan dropped noticeably below what her visible effort seemed to be reaching for. Here is where the story demands honest reflection. Public events are chaotic. Executives are pulled in multiple directions simultaneously. A missed conversation or a brief interaction can be entirely circumstantial, the result of logistics rather than intention. That version of events is entirely possible and deserves acknowledgement. But here is the version that a growing audience is finding harder to dismiss. Meghan Markle is not an unknown quantity in that room. She is a signed Netflix talent at a Netflix event. The CEO of that company is not accidentally failing to engage with one of the platform's most publicly visible personalities. In rooms like that, at events like that, everything is at least partially intentional. And if the intention was distance, the question worth asking is why. The uncomfortable answer that industry observers are beginning to discuss, quietly but consistently, is that Meghan's value proposition to Netflix may be shifting. The promise of her brand, global reach, royal credibility, aspirational lifestyle content, has not translated into the viewership dominance that reportedly justified the original deal. And in an industry where relationships are transactional and attention is finite, a CEO who does not lean in is a CEO who may be leaning out. What makes this moment particularly significant is what it communicates to everyone else in that room. Hollywood operates on perception. When people see where power gravitates and where it does not, they adjust accordingly. If senior Netflix leadership is visibly not prioritizing Meghan Markle at a Netflix event, every other person in that room with a decision to make about collaborating with her, platforming her, or attaching their name to her projects, they noticed. They always notice. In a room full of people who make careers out of reading the room, being the one nobody is reading is the loudest possible statement. If you thought that was wild, hit subscribe and drop a comment below. Tell us whether you think this was deliberate distance from Netflix leadership or simply a bad night that the internet is reading too deeply. Wait till you see what insiders are reportedly saying about the future of Meghan's Netflix deal following this California evening. That conversation is already happening behind closed doors.